Quack,
Quack.
quack, quack. What is going on, everyone? Welcome right in here to the Oregon Ducks Live, right here on the Oregon Channel, the voice of college football. We appreciate everyone tuning in or watching later on. So, also make sure as you come in and watch and/or in the future, hit that like and subscribe button so you know when we go live. As we are also here for post games, sometimes pre games, and sometimes for special things, depending on if we have a guest or not. As usual, Spaz is here. How you doing, Spaz?
I'm here. It's been a long couple weeks, man.
It feels like it, doesn't it?
That Ohio State game last week, that whole week just drained the shit out of me.
That's my thing. This last week has felt like it's gone forever. So today, I finally realized, like, okay, just like the team. I mean, the team had to do it by Monday morning. But for fans, just like the team, eventually we have to move on from it. We can revel in it a little bit, but we got to move on for it. As this is the short week where we travel to Purdue to take on the spoiler makers,
The
as they
spoiler
say.
makers.
As they say. Um, but let's do a little Ohio State recap of that game because I don't know if you've listened to have you listened to a lot of the Ohio State fans talk about that game?
Man, I tell you, it's been a good mix. You need to go subscribe to the Buckeye or follow the Buckeye Kid so he can add you into our Ohio State Oregon Big Ten group chat. Because there's been some interesting conversation, mostly friendly with a lot of the Ohio State people over the week, but they just, you know, they've pretty much admitted that Dan Lanning is a master planner and he outcoached everybody to the point that the NCAA today officially said from this point forward, if you call a timeout or whatever and then put 12 men on the field, the clock will be reset if the opposing team chooses to reset.
Damn right. I was gonna touch base on that later. But good way to bring that up. And as Kevin Hill said here, Quack, I've seen him in some of the other chats. Personally, a lot of the things I saw. Now, a lot of these were instant reaction or the day after. And so things changed as people went on and rewatched the game or the highlights, especially. The first day and a half was delusional.
Yeah.
It was just the fans going, this stadium, they were piping sounds through the speaker system. And, later Ohio State fans were like, no, it was loud as shit. And they're like, yeah, that was the broadcast. The broadcast was like downing the volume because it would eliminate the announcers and just delusional speak like, oh, Ohio State should have won by 2 or 3 scores. And we can get into that a little bit too. I do want to touch base on that, but there is a. Let's get into what you just brought up. Let's get into what you brought up. Let's deep dive real quick into that. Let's go.
All right.
So talk about it because I forgot what it was.
Well, basically, there's a hidden rule that there was
The loophole. Yes,
hidden
yes,
rule, loophole, however you want to phrase it, where you put 12 men on the field purposely to run time off the clock, and what Dan did was ran 4 seconds off by the incomplete pass, and yes, they gained 5 yards, but it cost them 4 seconds, which was the difference in the game, because by the time Mr. Ward, or whatever his name is, I forgot their quarterback,
Ryan,
Howard.
Howard.
Yeah. By the time he slid down, it was over, you know. And so Ohio State and Ryan Day were like, well, I called the timeout and that was cheating. And oh, well, you know what? How many times has Ohio State gotten away with that same kind of shit? Maybe not that play, but other plays.
There was some good commentary I saw earlier and over multiple things. That one, again, some people have always said, one, you got in that position where you were very near field goal range. Run the ball, take your time out. Get 2 or 3 extra yards, at least give a chance. They got the OPI, which it's 50-50 review from what I've seen. Some people are like, yeah, that's definitely pass interference. Or I see why it was called. And the others are like, that's crap. It was pass interference. When you push a guy like 4 yards back, 4 or 5 yards off of you, that's pass interference either way, no matter what. But
that's
so
what happens when he's only 165 pounds.
The point is, then they back themselves up, and Ryan Day, for being the genius, the coach that he is, and Chip Kelly and all the other coaching staff didn't realize, hey, he didn't go out of bounds. It was an offensive pass. The clock runs once they reset the ball. They all did. None of them realized that.
Yeah.
So that's a coaching failure.
Yep.
So then you get to that sentiment there, that situation where the play goes off, but Oregon called the timeout. And Dan Lanning openly admitted later on, because we said it. I think that was intentional, that he ran that guy on the field, basically to stop a potential big play. We said it right here. And then in his smirkish grin, when asked about it later, it was like, we practice for all things. You saw the results.
Yeah.
And most people are like, that's playing chess. I mean, that's literally just taking advantage of the rule. There's nothing against it. And like you just said, the rule is if it's intentional. How can an official say, oh, that was an intentional, unsportsmanlike type of thing he did? You can't. You can't put that in an official hand to try to call that type of thing.
Well,
that's impossible.
And the funny thing is that there's not even a rule against it. It just happened.
No, I know. There's like a sideline or byline kind of like standard of it saying if intentionally unsportsmanlike, it can be an unsportsmanlike penalty. But it's like, how can you tell if it was planned or not and unsportsmanlike? You can't.
Oh, ow, my hamstring. And then I go back in 2 plays later.
Well, yeah, and that's the same thing. It's like the injury thing. It's like, that's why we've said for years since most Oregon fans have said since Chip Kelly was running Oregon, if someone goes down, they got to stay out the rest of the drive. You can't come in like a play and a half later, or after a timeout. You can't come back in and all of a sudden be like, "Oh, I'm okay." Like, you have to stay out the whole drive. And the SEC has been realizing this now. They've had the most blatant, just ridiculous.
That LSU Ole Miss game last week was the cake of it.
Exactly. Lane Kiffin specials.
Well, and the thing about that, not only, Ryan Day messed up so many spots there, because he could have, when he was running down the sideline and he's like telling the officials, there's 12 men out there. There's 12 men out there. Then don't snap the ball, take the delay of game penalty. And guess what? It's offsetting penalties and you're redoing the play over with no time off the clock. Well, again, another time management.
Which again, I'm not even blaming Ryan Day for that, because the fact of the timing that Dan Lanning did it was like ultimate perfection. That's why he said we plan for these things, because he said, "Hey, here's our defense." They had a bunch formation on the right side of the field, and they literally just went and they were talking about earlier, like, "Hey, one, your safety, the back judge, they're counting the players on the field. You know, your team is counting to make sure you have only 11, just in case. The back judge is counting to make sure there's not 12 on the field." And right as they were lining up, Dan Lane's like,
Go.
so they'd already counted when the guy basically ran the field to cover that bunch, or to be the fourth man in that bunch for me, like to not allow anything to happen. So they just let it go as a 12-mile field, which was, as the Big Ten has said, was the correct call. They did it correctly. There was no nothing on the official. The official did it correctly. Now, yeah, as you said, the NCAA is already heavily looking into this, and obviously because it was such a significant game, and because the team it went against was Ohio State, of course, that's the only reason the NCAA is getting involved with it so quickly.
Yep.
Which actually, I think they said they were going to have a comment on it today officially.
It's official. Change. It's a official rule change as of 3:00 this afternoon.
Okay, I was like, I know they said they were going to come out to it, and I didn't get a chance to look it up. But
yep,
if it wasn't Ohio State, I swear to God, if it wasn't Ohio State, John Casano, congratulate that man. John Casano was like, yeah, if it wasn't Ohio State or such a significant game, would they have given a crap? No.
No, fuck Calanzano. I don't care what he says.
No, I know, but he was like, no, the NCAA wouldn't have cared if it wasn't because of Ohio State or such a significant game.
Him and Aaron Fentress are two of the most wishy-washy Oregon reporters there are in the country.
No, but I'm saying, he said, had it been like, say, Washington State, Nevada, would they have cared?
Exactly.
No. So he was even like, no, it's all about team name recognition and all that shit. That's all. That's the only reason that it got changed so quickly, or they put any attention to it. Because I was watching his show from earlier today, and I was like, he was very sensible earlier. He gets on his rants. He does get on his rants. Don't worry. I know. Well, Howard could have.
I've had personal verbal face-to-face arguments with that guy on more than one occasion.
Is that why you look like how you do? Because he beat the shit out of you?
Oh.
Well, that was a non-answer, so that means yes.
Sure. Sorry, I'm watching the baseball game at the same time.
Spaz got personally beat up by John Casano. Good job, Spaz.
Yep.
So, anyways, Dan Lanning, that was chess. I mean, that
Antone,
was chess.
He could have spiked the ball, but it would have been about 55 yards from that point. That's why he tried to run.
Well,
they were at the 37-yard line when he took off running. He got him about 8 yards.
He could have spiked the ball. He had 6 seconds, so 4 seconds, so they had to take a field goal at that point. The spike takes 2 seconds, basically.
Right.
So, yeah.
It would have been an over 50-yard field goal.
Everyone has said the time, even Ohio State fans, no matter what of the calls, the PI, the timeout with the 12-mile field, everyone said the time management of that last drive for Ohio State was horrid. Yep. Absolutely horrid. The amount of time they wasted between plays, not realizing the clock was going to keep running, not getting the first downs or out of bounds, and the clock kept running, and they left the game with a timeout.
That's just poor clock management.
Yeah. So
that's been a downfall of Ryan Day's since he got to Ohio State.
Yeah, most Ohio State fans
that's happened.
Yeah, most Ohio State fans are very sensible enough to be like, yeah, we still had a timeout though. What the hell, So, the other argument I have, and I just have to bring up because it's something I've been watching and listening to a lot, and it's annoyed me. is that everyone who says, or well, not everyone, I'm sorry, Ohio State fans who continue to say, "Oh, well, we're going to meet again." I'm we're pretty much guaranteed, I think, at this point to meet again, probably, unless they lose to Penn State.
If they lose to Penn State, it's over for them.
Well, not for the playoff necessarily,
No, but
for the Big Ten title,
is.
most likely. But I'm saying right now we're on the trajectory because as Oregon fans, we said our two games before the end of the year, before this season, were Ohio State, Michigan. Well, Michigan is not looking that great. And we already took out Ohio State. So at this point, we almost expect 12-0 now in the Big Ten.
Almost.
Wisconsin will still be a challenge on the road, and so will Michigan. They'll still be a challenge. I'm not saying they're going to be just as a cupcake, but they're not looking as dominant, obviously, as maybe we thought they were going to be. And this is something I wanted to get into is that's it. Their field goal kicker, they just didn't have the faith in that. It was a long field goal if they were going to try to take it. That's why they were trying to get extra. That's why they were throwing it, because some people were like, just run it, at least try it. But we as Oregon fans, we understand. Get the yardage. I think if Chip Kelly was having flashbacks of Oregon and Maldonado,
Yeah.
Well, and this is another part I was going to get into here is the Ohio State fans are so confident on neutral field they would win by 2 or 3 scores, and they're like, we went on the road and they only won by 1. I'm like, well, we had a missed field goal. We went for 2 to make up for the extra point miss. We should have had the 4th down touchdown, but we just Gabriel didn't read it right. Immediately, that's a 10-point swing, Oregon.
Yeah.
And then even then, if had we had that extra 10 points, that 4th down, had it come down to potentially that 4th down and goal at the very end there in the 4th quarter, Lanning might have been like this, death punch. And tried to like donkey punch fucking Ohio State at that point to make it 17 points. So don't tell me, oh, you're going to win by 2 scores on a neutral field. Oregon could have done it. They kind of shot themselves in the foot also multiple times. Plus, Ohio State, there was an interception that didn't get called.
Yeah.
That was a pick by Bossa and didn't get called, and that led to 7 points for Ohio State.
Yeah.
Don't give me this, delusional Ohio State fans. These teams are very equally matched. It was at Autzen, but on a neutral field, this is a 50-50 ball game. There's no, we're going to win by 2 or 3 scores on a neutral field. Shut up. Let's be real about this.
Yeah.
They always ignore the Bossa pick. They almost all of them always don't even talk about that.
Yeah, no,
they're like, we drove right down the field and scored in the first drive. Like, yeah, because no one reviewed the play. That was a pick. Oh yeah, well yeah, the Daniel Henry right here. Yeah, both teams had miscues. Both teams definitely did. That's why I was like, all right, if everyone's like, hey, one team is going to win by 2 or 3 scores, or on a neutral field, I think it's a very 50-50 game, to be honest.
I think it's a 50-50 game on either field, period.
Well, and that's a fair point, too. And that's why I'm like, I'm not saying we're going to go on a neutral field and dominate by 2 or 3 scores. I'm just saying we left points on the board as well. So don't, I don't want to hear the whole we should have won by 2 or 3 scores from Ohio State fans where it's like Oregon left points on the board too, or off the board. We left them on the field. We didn't get them. So, Yeah. I'm still confused by this. Dan Lanning said it was an onside kick attempt, but the kicker said it wasn't. It was supposed to be a squib. I think what he was trying to say was like the intention was squib it hard and see what happens, and then it turns into the onside. I think that's what it was meant. Dan Lanning didn't look surprised that it happened. Like he was kind of like, yeah, that's how it was supposed to go. Like in a picture perfect world, the onside. Oh, there's more points Oregon left on the board. Actually thinking about that, because after that, again, Trayshawn Holden got ejected for spitting on an Ohio State player.
Yeah.
What the fuck, Trayshawn Holden? What are you doing?
It's done. It's over with.
I know. We're going to talk about that here in a second. But that was potentially 4 points left off the board because of that, because they had to take a field goal after that, because Oregon was moving, and that backed them up 15. And Dan Lanning specifically addressed that and said, hey, he apologized all this, but we're handling that internally for punishment, basically, or whatever. And I'm like, I figure he'll be out for 1 or 2 games. They're not gonna. I don't think they're gonna have him participate in the Purdue game. I think they'll hold him out and be like, no, you're basically suspended, like team suspension for a game at least.
Who knows? And again, maybe not. I mean, has Kirby Smart suspended anybody yet? Nope.
Well, he should suspend himself for hitting the Mississippi State quarterback.
Dude, he's had like 10 guys have off-field violations this year.
No, I know, but he was. But Kirby Smart was caught on camera shoving the Mississippi State quarterback. He should be suspended.
Giving him help back out to the field.
Yeah, after they put up 31 points on him. Yeah, okay, sure.
Yep,
sure. But yeah, I think he'll be held out of Purdue as a suspension. At least it's not like, hey, we're holding you out as we play. Give me an
or he might sit him in the second half, maybe.
No. I think we don't need Trayshawn Holden at Purdue. Give him a suspension during Purdue. Do what Alabama and all the SEC teams do, where they go, hey, we're playing the Citadel this weekend. You're on suspension.
Yeah,
because they don't need you. Yeah. Sorry to the chat. I'm kind of all over the place tonight. There's a lot of conversation, a lot to talk about to recap before we even get to Purdue, in a sense. But yeah, it's a.
Anyways, moving on. As we get ready for Spoiler Maker Week, Oregon is now number 2 in the nation. And after Saturday's games are over, could possibly be the number 1 team in the nation coming back home for homecoming week.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, and there was also a lot of that talk, of course, like, we kind of had it briefly on Sunday on the After Dark show. It's like, who should be number 1? Because if you look at the resume, Texas gets a boost. One, as we always say, SEC bias, even though their first year in the SEC. But it's because they went on the road and dominated Michigan the way they did. But Michigan is not any good this year. Like, they're okay, but they're not last year's Michigan.
No, not even close.
So that game,
and they don't have a quarterback.
That game. Oh, exactly. They have 3 quarterbacks, meaning they have nothing. Exactly. So that game is not near as impressive, but voters are always sold on like Texas. Whereas Oregon actually legitimately has the best resume.
Yeah.
Not necessarily the most dominant, like scoring point wise, but we have the win over I believe they're 15 now, Boise State, which is everyone now is going, oh, that's a good freaking team. We're like, yeah, we freaking knew this.
We
after week 2. Now we have the win over what was the number 2 team in the country. So technically, resume-wise, that should make you number 1 because no one else has that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like no one else has that.
Yep. We have 2 top 20 wins.
I agree, Daniel, in the chat here. Both teams made mistakes. Oregon left points on the board too, exactly. And at the end of the day, it was a great. I mean, that was the epitome of the game everyone wanted to see out of this game. And you got it. You got it and more. That was the main thing. So 100%. I have a feeling we will be seeing, unless Ohio State loses like Penn State or randomly in the Michigan rivalry game, you know how that stuff goes. Or Oregon, Washington. You never know what's going to happen unless there's some random trip up. It seems like a destiny for Oregon, Ohio State to meet again in Indianapolis. I mean, it does at this point.
Yeah, unless Indiana and Signetti beat them in
that's
Columbus.
Oh yeah, the tiebreakers. Yeah, and then potentially tiebreakers. Like say Ohio State beats Indiana. Well, if Indiana beats Ohio State, but Indiana loses someone, it depends on the tiebreakers. But because Oregon going to play Indiana, that's one of the things. There's some weird tiebreakers that's going to go on this year, or in the future, especially. But I think it's going to be Ohio State, Oregon, in Indianapolis. Feeling pretty confident about that one.
I wouldn't count Penn State out right yet.
Well, I wouldn't either entirely, but I don't know. It just feels
that
like
game's in Happy Valley.
I just
on a Saturday night.
I just kind of want Ryan Day to go 0-3 against Oregon.
No, I'm good. Give me Kirk Signetti and the Indy Hoosiers.
Ooh, I don't know. I'd be kind of nervous about that one. I don't know. He's gonna pull us some special shit. Would you rather face Ryan Day again, James Franklin, or Ryan Signetti?
Kurt Signetti.
Did I say Ryan Signetti?
Yeah.
Why the hell did I say Ryan Signetti? I don't know.
You give me James Franklin.
Yeah, Texas still has Oregon did pick up the other majority first place votes. No one else did, but yeah, Texas still maintained 53 first place votes. That was kind of weird. I mean, I get it. They destroyed Oklahoma, but Oklahoma had no quarterback and they were without 5 wide receivers. So I don't know. Hey, watch out, Daniel. Remember, they almost beat you in 2020. So watch out. Now Indiana is rejuvenated again, too. Apparently, they're on a tear. Now, their schedule hasn't been great. I'm not going to say that they've been a powerhouse, but they have been destroying teams.
No rat poison and chop.
Eesh. Well, that's the point. This is the challenge. Just like for all the fans, hey, eventually you can remember the Ohio State game, but you have to forget about it. Just like the players come Sunday evening, Monday morning, depending on when landing and the coaching staff starts discussing and game planning. It's a short week, and now we're on the road at Purdue. So, yeah, and then off to the hype. You know how teams can be, how players can be, where, they don't get over that kind of hangover of a huge win. But Lanning is very good at recovering from wins and or losses. at his time at Oregon. He's very good at overcoming those things. So I don't think it's going to be an issue, but I'm not surprised that Oregon's number 2. I figured us and Ohio State would flip, but then Penn State would go up one because, of course, Penn State's undefeated. So that one's a huge surprise. Maybe the first place votes were a little surprising. I think it's just because it was a 1-point game. That's why there was such a split with the first place votes. But well, Captain Hilks, I hate to tell you, no matter what now, Oregon just introduced themselves as the team in the Big Ten. That's all they did right now this week by beating Ohio State. And shout out to I don't know which announcer exactly did it. I'm sorry. It was probably was it Blackledge on the announcement? He was like, Oregon, welcome to the Big Ten. As the clock ran out and they stormed the field. So yeah, we're already gonna have a target on our back. Even as a top 3 or 4 team, you're already gonna have a target on your back. But now as the top team, quote unquote, top team, in a sense, of the Big Ten, as in taking out Ohio State, you're definitely gonna have a target on your back. That's just how things go. Yeah, that's exactly the point right here. Even number 2, there's still a huge target. Everyone wants to take out the top teams, but as being quote unquote the top ranked team of the Big Ten, yes, in the first year, mind you, the first year. So you think all the other teams are a little salty, maybe? Not just Ohio State, but the other teams? Of course they are. That's how things work. Spaz, get off your phone. Stop playing. Stop searching.
Sorry,
phones.
somebody was trying to hack me.
Yeah, okay. Your wife.
Porn.
Your wife trying to figure out what you're searching for.
A friend of mine was just telling me I was tagged in a porn thing on my Facebook.
Mm-hmm. That's likely.
I could show you. I could share it with the live stream.
No. Mark called us out earlier on his Ohio State live show on Wednesday morning. He not specifically called us out, but he was like one of his. They were talking about the game, and he was like, "I'm sorry, I'm about to start blowing up, like swearing." He was getting kind of heated, and Mark's like, "That's okay. We have a lot of people dropping F-bombs. I've had to tell a few people to cool it down." I'm like, Nah. He called me out for Sunday night show when he texted me like, "Lay off the F-bombs."
Yeah, he got us. But we made you $500, Mark.
Right? At Sunday night show.
Where's our cut?
Sunday night show was that was a great night, and even then, people wanted to go longer. I'm like, no, we're way overdue, and they wanted to go. I was like, no, I'm okay. And and keep chopping here. Yeah, exactly. This is an interesting topic too. We're not going to dive into it too much. What? No, there's no sniffs. There's no sniffs. Shove, Sean. I saw the chat. Keep chopping this. That's this though. This is a good point, and this is something I think Dan Lanning doesn't tolerate. That's why I think he's going to suspend Holden for 1 to 2 games. And as he said, he'll take it internally because we don't need Holden. But you look at DeBoer, Bama the first year, and look what happened. They beat Georgia. I mean, now all credit to Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt looks like a pretty solid team this year. Like they found some different mixes, but Alabama, you've seen them acting out just wildly, like outraged on the field about things, and that's a coaching thing to tell players, "Hey, keep your cool," So I don't think we're going to see that with. I don't think we're going to see that with Lanning. He's not going to put up with that shit.
I should have been there. Yeah.
The one year we
Problem
don't
is,
play Stanford, and they're literally trash. Stanford is terrible.
I fight those guys all the time, Tony.
So
Sometimes on a daily basis.
So have you gotten any sniffs yet? Have you been sniffed?
No.
Thank God. It smells like trash.
Pack, are you here?
I forgot what his name was. Thank you for reminding me.
Pack 12. Pack 12.
Oh my God. I don't know how Miami's ranked so high because they've had literally 2 referee called games in the final seconds. I don't know how Miami is ranked that high.
Yeah.
I have no idea. How long did LeGarrette Blount?
He got booted. He got
booted
like
like
the rest
half
of the year.
Yeah, he got booted like at least half the fucking season. Even after he apologized, he kicked him out for like at least half the season. Let's put this, he was not the primary or secondary period at that point.
Right.
I mean, yeah, he was downgraded heavily. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, Trayshawn, he'll be out this game. He's not going to participate in the Purdue game. If he does, I'd be surprised at all. If he's even participating, I would be surprised. I think Lanny's going to be like, no. Because that was just, that was just bizarre. It was so, he wasn't even involved in the play.
Yeah.
It was just weird. And it was like, why? Oh, Sean, you have been sniffed before, I'm sure. Oh, yeah. Okay, David said Blount was out for 10 games, and Sean said, yeah, Blount came back at the end of that season. Yeah, I was like, he was pretty much like just disqualified almost all that season after that. That is true. Luckily, that DB was wearing he had the shield on, so to say, the visor stuff. So Sean, there was no handshakes going on. I mean, it was like this.
It's full go practice all week. I don't know.
Yeah, I practice, but I don't think he's going to be participating Friday. Dan said they're handling it internally, and
maybe he got some of his nil money taken away.
That's one of those.
We took his lunch money.
Yeah, that's one of those just outrageous. Just what are you doing? Plays, I mean,
what are you thinking?
Yeah, what's going through your head at that point? You're not involved in the play even. It was a run play.
I don't know. It's the guy shoved him or something and we didn't see. Who knows?
Well, he was blocking him as if he was maybe a
the guy could have called him.
Or,
the guy could have called him that word. Who knows?
They're both black, so
I don't know. Just saying.
That's a normal conversation.
That's normal conversation for those folks.
But I'm saying, yeah, I something could have been said, but it looked more like the guy just shoved him a little bit, and then he kind of went around, and then he came back, then did it, and then just kind of smiled, smirked, and walked off. And I'm like, what are you doing right now, though? Because then the DB was like this. He didn't say anything or do anything. He just stood there like, really?
Like you just did that?
Yeah. So he held himself in check because, yeah, most people have said they would have been like, oh, hell no. And absolutely beat the hell out of someone, which I would agree with. I think if the guy hadn't had the visor and his mask, he probably would have like punched him. And I would have blamed him as a retaliation.
Yeah. So what do we think about Purdue?
Yeah. This was a great comment too. Everyone was like, should Dan Lanning have not admitted to it and just been like, yeah, no, it was an accident. We don't know what happened. You could that smirk on his face. Well, I'm glad they're going to fix it too, because now we don't want anyone doing it against Oregon. So, so Purdue. Let's get into Purdue here. We've reviewed this. So Oregon at Purdue this Friday. What do we see happening? Because Purdue is not a good team.
No, they are, I believe, 1-5.
Yeah, I mean, now
they did almost pull off the upset last weekend against Illinois. I will say that.
Yeah, in all fairness, they did, as we were talking about, they switched quarterbacks because you said you let me know, reminded me Card got injured, and their guy is throwing the ball around and he can run.
Yeah, he threw for almost 300, ran for over 100 last week.
Yeah, and again, they put up 49 points on Illinois, which is supposed to have a good defense.
But it was 35-7 at half. So,
well, that's what I mean. I was like, Illinois was up like at least 25, and I don't know if they just laid off, like, took their foot off the gas, or just said, screw it, we're good. And Purdue came firing all back, and the only reason they lost, they missed the 2-point conversion to try to end it in overtime.
Scopel says their defense is terrible, so that's...
Well, you did give up 50 points to Illinois.
Yeah, so
not the greatest not the greatest statistics. Let me see here. Let me see if I can find some statistics. Let's go team statistics. So scoring, they have 20. They're about 23.7 per game. Let me see. Where's the defense? Are you gonna show me? You're not gonna show me defense. What the? Oh, wait. Nope. It just shows team. That's weird. I mean, overall, they're not bad. I think a lot of it was the quarterback issue. Now, penalties, they are atrocious. They average 76 yards in penalties per game already. That's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. Yeah, it's 27.5 or 28. Yeah, it's which I don't know. I'm not a betting man on games by any means, because if I bet on something, my team will lose. That's just how it goes.
Purdue, Sean said it right. Purdue's 124th in team defense out of 135 teams in
that sounds about right. I was just trying to look at their stats, but as soon as you see penalties at 76 yards per game, you're like, youch.
Yeah.
Youch.
I think they're giving up 40-something points a game.
That's probably about correct also. I need to find a different statistic page here. That's probably about correct. I'd say they're at least giving up 40 points a game on average. I'd say that's about correct. At least 40.
Stats. Let's see.
And I think with Captain Hills, that's it. I think they're going to run the quarterback more, and that'll affect us a little bit. Plus, the
Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
They're averaging 23.7 points a game. It ranks 177th. They're giving up 39 points a game, which is 275th.
Well, with the FCS, that's with the FCS.
Yeah, they give up 340 yards a game. No. Yeah, 340 yards a game, which is 181st. And they give up 35% on third down efficiency.
Well, they have to give more yards than that for that many points. But anyways, yeah. So let's just round it to, like I said, 40 points a game. Point is, Oregon, unless they have a complete hangover, which could happen for a quarter on the road, that could happen in a different environment like Purdue. I'm not going to be surprised if Oregon has a little hangover for like a quarter. But by halftime,
Oregon is 48% on third down.
Yeah, no. I'm saying Oregon's a much better team than Purdue, even with their different quarterback and stuff. And because Purdue's defense is not that great. But I'm not going to be surprised at the end of the first quarter if it's a 14-7, 10-3, even 14-3 game. I'm not going to be surprised because Oregon's going to have a little hangover from this game with Ohio State. So I'm not going to be surprised if it's a little bit close in the very first half. You know, I'm not going to worry about that.
Yeah.
That first quarter will be I think it will be a little sloppy, a little slow. I think it just generally will be. Now, if it's not, if it's fast action and they're just putting the points up, like, well, goddamn, Stein and Lanning got this offense rolling, like, and they should. I mean, against Purdue, again, no disrespect to Purdue, they're still transitioning from Braum, second year under. I really don't know the coach's name. Apologize. But they're not good. They're not good. So if Purdue puts up 50 on us, I'll be terrified. I would be terrified.
You won't see me Friday night.
Fuck you. Nope. I haven't stopped dropping F-bombs. I already got told to stop. Thank you. Ryan Walters. Thank you. I was like, why can I not remember the guy's name? Just like totally blanked and like just out of my mind. Oh God, is it a blackout night at Purdue?
That's what they're saying.
Oh yeah, the first quarter will be I don't want to say sloppy, but I think it will be slow. Which is normal for a lot of teams though when you come off a big win. Especially then you have to go on the road. And on a short week. You expect a little bit of, again, I don't want to say sloppiness, but you expect a little slow start. That's pretty normal. Yeah. Spaz, let's take a guess.
Yeah.
Keep Chopping says, guess we'll see how many Oregon fans live in Indiana.
Captain's going.
Let's take a guess.
Captain will be there.
Well, I get that, but I'm saying, how many Oregon fans live in Indiana?
There's not a lot.
It's probably more than you think, but yeah, not that many. A couple thousand, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. We're gonna do score predictions because Spaz fucking shit his pants this last week with the score prediction. He couldn't tell when two good offenses were gonna get together and score, so he sucks.
No, this is my OnlyFans show as well, Tim. Yes.
Yeah, you already missed it.
Everybody comes to see me, man.
Tim, he already climaxed, so this is a downhill slope for you. You missed the show.
Have you been sniffed today, Tim?
Damn it. That guy is going to forever be like a legend on that night. And he made that night so much better on Sunday. You didn't start anything. You're late. You already missed it all. Spaz finished. So
yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna get into this, but Spaz shit his pants on the score predictions because he didn't believe in offenses.
That was last week. You beat me by like 2 points.
It was 32-31. That means I beat you by 4. No, I beat you by like 9-10 points. You had
27-24.
Yeah, and I had 31-28. And that was almost like spot on. 31-28. I mean, it was 32. I mean, that was almost spot on. Pack smacked you.
You guys are bad.
This is why Mark's like, tone it down, everyone.
It's all Tim's fault because Tim brought him in. Pack did not show up till Tim was in the
Tim let himself into the show too, by the way.
Yeah, of course he did. Surprised he hasn't changed our banner or something to fight on or something.
I don't know what to make of this Purdue game because of the Ohio State effect, the hangover. Because again, Purdue seems to be figuring it out a little bit without Card.
This is not
their defense is bad.
This is not Chip Kelly or Mario Cristobal's Oregon teams.
I understand that 100%, but it's after Ohio State win like that, historic in the program, that affects people. Short week, and then you go on the road. So there's multiple layers to this, and Purdue is apparently taking. I don't know if it's just because it was Illinois or if Illinois took their foot off the gas when they went up like 25 or something, and Purdue stormed back and Illinois couldn't stop. I don't know. So there's a little bit of a facet to this of when I'm looking at the score predictions that we're going to do here in a second. I just don't know how to predict score. And that's a good point from Captain here. Is like, at least that's the thing. Lanning doesn't lose to teams he shouldn't lose to. When he's lost, at least it's been pretty solid teams. The worst loss he's probably had has been Oregon State that 1 year when they came back. That was probably his worst loss. That's my point right here. Yeah. Purdue they'll show up on a Friday night to face the number 2 team in the country, the newcomer of the Big Ten, who's trying to take the crown. Purdue will show up. Purdue will show up, though.
It was 27-3 in the third quarter.
27. Okay, I thought they were 25, but 24 still. I mean, the point is they were up significant, and Purdue stormed back. So, I mean, you have to think about that. A team now has a positive vibe going, hey, we can score on teams. You know, and then you're at their place. So
Yeah, and Purdue missed the 2-point attempt.
yeah, exactly. They went to overtime and then they went for two.
Instead of going for the tie, they went for the win on the road.
It was overtime. I think it was overtime already, and they went for
It
two.
was.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
they
Purdue,
just wanted. It was one of those decisions where it's like, screw this. Let's not drag it out. Let's just do it. Or
Illinois scored first, and then Purdue scored and went for the win and failed.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why I was like, no, it was overtime already, and they just went for the win.
This was a fairly even game. Illinois was 8 of 12 on third down. Purdue was 5 of 10. Illinois had 20 more yards than Purdue. They had 550 and Purdue had 536.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Purdue went for it because they were like, screw this. We came all the way back. Let's just end this one way or the other. They didn't get it. They didn't get it. That's a confidence move by the coaching staff. Didn't work out. We've seen that as Oregon fans. Where certain confidence moves don't work out. We've seen that. So you have to respect it.
Dylan Rysack sacked Ryan Brown on the 2-point conversion. So they did play a little bit better. But the rest of they were beat 49-0 at home.
Yeah.
By Indiana State.
Yeah, it's not big. It's not big.
They were beat 66-7 at home to Notre Dame off a bye week. They went to Oregon State and got beat by 21. They came home to Nebraska, got beat by
17.
28-10.
No,
and then
30,
they got
30. It's 38-21. 17 points. I don't know what score. I don't know what you're looking at.
I was looking at Nebraska.
Oh, Nebraska. Well, no, 28-10. That's 18. That's still 18 points.
And then Wisconsin beat them 52-6.
There you go.
And then all of a sudden they scored 49 points.
Well, that was because Card went out. Apparently, Brown is their quarterback. But I think you put part of that on Illinois of going, we were up 24, 25 points, kind of back off, and then Purdue just went at them. You know, I don't know how to judge those games. We don't play Illinois or Purdue. I don't know how their type of series has gone as a history of those two teams against each other. So I'm just going to assume that it was Illinois took their foot off the gas a little bit, and who knows? I don't know. But
let's see, sacks 1, 2.
Assuming he's asking Purdue.
3, 4, 5.
Is it more than Oregon?
Wasn't sacked at OSU.
Because correct me if I'm wrong, chat. Oregon
10.
10?
Hold on. So far, Nebraska sacked them 10 times.
10?
Or
10
5
times?
Excuse me, 5.
Okay, I was going to say, like, holy
13.
shit.
Their quarterbacks have been sacked 15 times.
Okay. So Gabriel, think about it. Gabriel was sacked 7 times in 2 games, but in 3 games. Well, 1, 2, 3.
They haven't even sniffed 4 games. They haven't even sniffed pressure on Dylan Gabriel.
No. They've gotten pressure. He's evaded it or gotten rid of it first. Because he was clobbered in this last game once, but he already got the ball away. It was caught. And he got clobbered. So there have been pressures, but yeah, sacks have not happened. So that's a huge improvement. I think he's gotten more confident in the offense too. I think he has. I think that's what we've been seeing. He's gotten more confident.
Yeah.
Yes, this is definitely one of Purdue's worst teams.
Captain,
I don't know.
Captain, have you heard anything on Jordan this week? Is
I have
Birch out
yeah,
still?
I haven't heard anything on Jordan Birch either. So
I haven't looked.
I think they're gonna. I think they'll probably just hold him out. Kind of a Bedford situation, you know, just hold him out. They don't need him this week.
Bedford's probably getting redshirted.
Yeah, I think so. But I'm saying it would be kind of like the Bedford thing, where it's like we don't need him this week. We can manage. Like, make sure he's healed up. Let's get into especially for like Michigan, Wisconsin kind of games. Let him heal up. Make sure he's good.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's how. I think that's kind of how it'll go and be. Sean, you've been sniffing a lot too.
So give us your score prediction because I'm ready to roll.
Who is it? You want mine or Sean's?
Yours.
Ooh, I really have not even thought about this much. But no, I'm gonna give a score prediction because I wrote my name down first. You suck at score predictions. I'm just looking at the score list here, and again, short week after Ohio State win, and then on the road.
This is where you fail.
I'm gonna go with something around the. I don't think Oregon's gonna push it. Hopefully, the starters are out by the fourth quarter, if not even mid-third quarter. I'm gonna go with something around 38-10. I'm writing it down. 38-10.
Okay.
Done. It is written down. It is permanent in ink right here on this trusty tablet.
55-17.
55. I could see that too. I mean, that's why I'm kind of like this is kind of a hard one to predict because it's going to fall right in the middle of that. It's going to be like 45-13. That's what it's probably going to be, like 45-13 or something like that, you know.
No, Higgy, he's always hammered.
Yeah. That's kind of my gig around here. I am the slurring drunk man.
Meniscus. Ooh, God damn it. I hope not.
Oh, for Birch?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
The captain's on a lot of the message boards. I can't seem to get in there. I'm not paying money to get on them fucking things. Sorry.
Yeah, if it's a meniscus thing with him, yeah, that's gonna take a couple weeks. Easily to let the inflammation and all that stuff go down.
You could have him back by Michigan.
Michigan, yeah. You're gonna hold him out for a couple weeks because you're gonna just re-aggravate that immediately.
Because we've got Purdue, Illinois, then Michigan,
Maryland, Wisconsin, by Washington.
Yeah.
Unless I'm crazy. I might be. I'm a little crazy, but I mean, I hang out with Spaz here online, so.
I'm waiting for confirmation. My daughter-in-law just informed me today that her company was told, she was told at work today that, oh, by the way, we saw that you guys were at the Michigan State game. And she said, yeah, we want to go back to the Maryland game. And they're like, oh, well, you know, we got company boxes. She's like, what? They're like, yeah, well, we got 2 company boxes. We'll we might be able to hook you up for Maryland. So we'll see.
There you go. There you go. No, that would not be. That would be pretty decent. Meniscus. That's the
That's
not
the
the
cartilage in your knee.
yeah, cartilage. That's the word.
Padding.
That's the word I was thinking. It was cartilage. It's the padding in the knee, the cartilage between the bone, so you don't rub. If you blow the cartilage, your bones rub together and all that crap. And Oregon's
No, I
remaining.
wish.
Are you going to Michigan? Yeah. No. Oregon's toughest remaining game.
Wisconsin.
Yeah, it's still a little bit of terror because Illinois obviously can put up points, but that's on a terrible defense. But their defense has been good, but now Purdue just showed them out. It's still Michigan and or Wisconsin. I think it's tough because Michigan doesn't have an offense.
And Wisconsin's starting to show their offense a little bit. They're starting to figure a few things out.
Yeah, and both of those are on the road. So, yeah, I'm going to say it is Wisconsin at this point. Also, at Wisconsin, probably the most difficult one.
Higgy burners, I'm going to say that Washington game is probably going to be somewhere around where I predicted for Purdue. It's going to be 55-60 to 10-20. We're going to murder Washington this year because it's a revenge game.
I think so, and Washington is so up and down. I mean, you can say the same with Michigan. That's why I'm not worried about Michigan as much. Washington is the rivalry game, so it's a little more. You never know what can happen with rivalry stuff, but yeah, Michigan is not good. Wisconsin, I think is probably the biggest issue. Plus, it's on the road.
And Sean, we already know how to defend Michigan. Stack the box and go play single coverage on what receivers they claim they have at Michigan. You're not going to have to double anybody. You're not going to have to play any schematics like you had to against Ohio, like you guys. They don't have receivers like you guys do. Not even close.
Yeah.
So literally, all you got to do is stop them and make them throw the ball. And good luck.
Yeah, Wisconsin. I think you're talking into it. Wisconsin is the toughest game I think left. And as Jason Engel says here, it's like that's it. Dan wants to finally nuke Washington.
Yeah.
To put them in the grave, just absolutely bury them.
%90 of the crowd will be drunker than Ben. Yes, they are that way at Camp Randall.
That's a normal college football game. What are you talking about? You weren't at Texas Tech. They throw tortillas, for fuck's sake.
Oh, you know what I was told today on a message board? The worst fans in the Big Ten are Penn State fans.
Really?
I've been told they will pour cups of urine on you from above. That is a shoot.
Can someone confirm this as a Big Ten fan? Other Big Ten fans, can someone confirm that? I'm not. We're not saying that as fact. Sean confirms. Never heard that before, so I'm like, can someone confirm that? I don't want to state that as fact or anything like that. So like, can someone else like kind of verify the information a little bit? Yeah,
I think he comes back Michigan game.
Yeah, I was like, Birch will be back, just like Holden will be. I think
maybe in limited snaps for Michigan to see how he plays.
Yeah, it's all dependent on practice. How he holds up. Kind of like Bedford. He was good, looking good, and then kind of tweaked himself in practice again. So we'll see. And even game time, yeah, I think it'll be limited a little bit just to make sure he doesn't accidentally re-aggravate anything.
Who is GWG? I know that person.
Yeah, he's like on all of our shows. So what the fuck are you talking about? I'd be insulted if I
Well,
was
because he
him.
talked about Eric Scopel, and not a lot of people know who Eric Scopel is.
Then you're not real Oregon fans.
Yeah, Mateo's playing out of his mind this year.
Well, he has to if Birch isn't there. He's got to really step it up. I mean, just look at Harmon
Everybody
again.
was like, "Oh, where was Betcher? I didn't see him. He was there. He just wasn't. He was just using a different capacity, and he didn't. They didn't use him as a rusher. They had him controlling the middle. And
yeah,
oh, got it. Okay.
this game with Ohio State kind of reminded me of 2021. 2021, obviously, totally different defense, and obviously Mario Cristobal and DeRider, right? DeRider. I never can pronounce his name correctly. In 2021, they played a bend, don't break, just don't let anything over the top defense against Ohio State at the shoe. This game kind of was like the same thing. A little more aggressive at the line against the run, but just don't get beat over the top. That's kind of what this game reminded me with offensively, or defensively against their offense. That's kind of what it almost was the same thing. It was like just don't get beat.
Yeah, Moose. We already know how to play you. You're not an issue this year. Not what we thought you were.
Yes, we already know Michigan has 3 quarterbacks, meaning you have
Which means
none.
they have 0.
Yeah, exactly.
Swiss cheese.
It's not like you have a great quarterback and then you have a running quarterback for goal line situation. Like if you have 3 quarterbacks, you have 0. That's what that means.
Yeah.
But yeah, Betcher was not really a factor in this game, but it was more of the defensive play calling. It was just like, do not get beat kind of thing. Which is funny because Ohio State's plan was to take the underneath intermediate routes, and then Oregon decided, hey, you're round 1 NFL draft cornerback pick. We're going to torch him all day long. That was Burr.
Moose, if you guys beat us, you send me a Michigan t-shirt, jersey, whatever, and I will wear it on the panel that following week.
I will not let him on the show. They're a bunch of talk about tight end. Penn State. Dude. Penn State has a tight end. Holy shit.
Yeah.
What the guy have like 17 receptions for like 240 yards or something like that? Something absolutely ridiculous. Talk about a tight end. What a monster.
200 and something yards.
Yeah, it was like 220 or 240 yards. Like, geez. But that's against Lincoln Riley. So, not surprised at the same time.
Nope.
Lincoln Riley will find any way possible to absolutely piss away a game. It's absolutely amazing. All right, chat. Final commentary here. Drop your score predictions for us to let you know what Oregon will do with Purdue. I have 38-10 Oregon over Purdue. Spaz has 55-17. And I don't think either of those are crazy scores. So, but let us know in the chat what you think Oregon will do at Purdue on this short week after the Ohio State game, because it's Purdue. At Purdue, weird stuff happens. You know, weird stuff happens. We're going to find out, I guess, but.
Heard Purdue crowds play pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna see it too. Are they gonna be fired up, or are they gonna be like the UCLA or Cal crowd, or generally UCLA crowd now, and be like, meh. Oh, even Tim's showing us love. Like 51-20. I mean, that would be pretty much split in between us to a degree.
No, it won't.
Sean, Oregon plays that shit. Still wins 35-17.
Hi, Frankie. How's work going?
Isn't there like a heart monitor going off and like a patient needs resuscitation and the nurse is not paying attention because she's predicting duck scores? Frankeny, how dare you? I don't have that. I don't have that meme. So
that's awesome. Send us some pictures and stuff, Captain. We'll share them.
There you go. Yeah. That too, Jason. I really hope, like Moose says, Oregon will play a lot of backups by halftime. I really do hope by, say, like 10 minutes left in the third quarter, say we get the ball after halftime, we score again or something like that. I want to see the second and third string start getting there. So, yeah, Dante, I want to see Novosad, hell, even Moga, whatever. I want to see we want to see the backups, especially more. Get them in game situations. And, because as I said, we haven't gotten to see a lot of more because we've been in these games. And even then, they kind of don't let them do anything, which is also kind of the problem. You don't get a good feel of the backups because they don't want to have them do anything crazy. A lot of it's just handoffs, like runs and stuff like that. Oh, yeah. That too. Yeah. Save Dante's red shirt.
Yeah, but he's got to play in 4 games, and he's only played in, what, 1?
Well, that's true. But if this game's well in hand, I mean, yeah, but this is a good one for him. I think that would come up. They didn't do it in UCLA. Does one kneel down really count as a playing in a game?
I think it does.
Well, that's why they used Novosad then.
Yeah.
But also because Dante would have gotten absolutely attacked by UCLA. It was already extremely like.
Don't you guys already have 3 losses, Moose? Or do you only have 2?
What, Michigan?
Yeah.
They're not on Purdue's schedule, so I have to go back and find Michigan. God damn it, ESPN! Why can't you just go back to the schedules?
They're 4-2. Thanks, Sean.
Okay. I was like, I was trying to go back to the schedule, and I'm like, it won't let me do it. I'm like, really?
What do you mean by that? You don't think Dante will stick around long enough for a red shirt to matter? Oh, I know what you're saying. Okay.
I don't know. This is something we're going to talk about later in the season because obviously Gabriel's one and done. Dante's there. Achilles Smith's coming in. They have Moga, they have Novosad, Brock. They have two other quarterbacks committed for 25, 26, or another one for 25, I believe, also with Akio Smith, and then 26 committed. There, someone's leaving at some point.
Yeah, Brock's leaving or going to switch positions, I'm sure.
I would love to see it switching a position. I mean, I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback by any means. I think it's you saw like Novosad and then like Moga take over the show.
Yeah.
So to say, more than
I
anything.
don't think Akili plays next year.
Oh yeah, no. He's purely a true red shirt. He's not going to see the field at all, minus maybe the spring game a little bit. That's about it.
Yeah.
He's not even going to see the field. There's too much depth in the quarterback room for him to even sniff the field. Speaking of sniffing, where's Pac doesn't like the Oregon show. He didn't show up. All right.
Yeah, we're going after that guy to flip him for sure. We're still working on that kid.
Yeah, all I can say is Oregon should smash Purdue. Even in a sleepy, slow, messy game. Should smash Purdue by at least 3 or 4 scores. At least. And that's like at our worst. Oregon State or the Ohio State kind of final look around. I get it. Ohio State fans are salty about this.
Oh wait, they're over in the ditch.
Yeah, they're salty about this and that, and it's like, hey, that's what happens when you lose. But Ohio State, I mean, I get it. By 1 point, with the potential to kick a game winner, and then just see the same failures. Well, welcome to what Oregon's dealt with for years. Shitty kickers, bad management, risky behaviors, aka Dan Lanning. We've dealt with it too. So welcome to the salty fan club. Welcome, Ohio State fans. You're now our bitch, though. 2-0 against us since 2021. Or 0-2, I'm sorry. 0-2 against us since 2021. That may also be why
Vandy's got to get ranked first.
Oh, Vandy? Oh. I don't know if I'd even want it. I don't know if I'd want to play Vandy, to be honest.
I actually want to see Oregon and Texas.
I don't know what I wanted to see in the playoff or the scenario, but all I know is
I want Miami in the semis.
That would be amazing. That would be amazing. But all I know is Oregon just has to do what they do. Look, we already said Michigan and Ohio State were the two most worrisome games, and then Wisconsin. Well, Michigan is not as good as they were, and we already took out Ohio State. So Oregon has a clear path, one to the playoff, but also to the Big Ten title. Big Ten title game, rather. Let me clarify that. So the point is, everything's in front of us. Ohio State's now the one who's like got to worry because they can't slip up. Basically, So it's like,
all right, let's wrap this bitch up. We're going an hour right now.
I'm trying to, and you keep fucking bringing up stuff. I've been literally trying for like 10 minutes. Anyways, so 38-10 prediction for me against Purdue, 55-17 for Spaz. The chat has voiced their opinions, and they all seem pretty in the middle, kind of split between where we're at on predictions. So can't blame them. I think that's pretty reasonable. I don't see Bursch back this week. I think Holden's out this week, suspended. But yeah, it's been a great week with the Ohio State win, but we have to move on and get ready for Purdue, and that is Friday night. Oh God!
2 out of the last 3 weeks we're doing Friday night.
Well, and it is the last Friday at least, though. So, oh wait, let me not. I don't want to put that as a. Ooh. No. Oh.
Join us here Friday night.
I hit delete accidentally instead of edit to remove as a ticker. Please do join us here for the post game.
Can have another one, Ben. Jesus.
I thought it was going to ask me when I hit it. I was like, "Are you going to ask me if I want to delete it?" It's like, nope, deleted. Like, StreamYard, hate you. Yeah, by all means, join us here Friday night.
8 o'clock.
Yeah.
Pacific.
Well, okay. I was going to say, I was like
8:30. Go 8:30. 10:30 Central.
Yeah, I have 7 p.m. Central. So that would be 10:30. Yeah, 10:30 p.m. Central, 8:30 Pacific for the live post-game reaction to Oregon at Purdue. As the Ducks sing on the Boilermakers. And then nothing until the following week when we host Illinois, right?
Homecoming, Illinois. Yep.
Yeah.
12:30 game in 2 weeks. Yay!
I like the Friday night game though. I like the Friday night games. It's kind of nice. They're not super late. At least it's better than like a Saturday, say 7:30, 8 p.m.
Big
Pacific.
10 after dark.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone, I love it. Everyone's like still Pac-12 after dark or Big 10 after dark. Is there? Yeah, no, it's the announcers are calling it. Because I was watching Podcast of Champions, the USC guys, and they're like, "Oh, these are the most Pac-12 games ever." As they were talking about former Pac-12 members competing in the scores, and they're like, "Yeah, that's a Pac-12 game. Yeah, that seems like a Pac-12." They bring them up. I'm like, yeah, seems about right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. That's not happening. Again, Moose, we already talked about it. You came in late, I think. That's why we already talked about this. We'll just touch upon it really briefly, and then we're gonna get out of here. Oregon left at least 10 to 15 points on the field. And that's not even counting the missed field goal. I'm not even counting the missed field goal we didn't have. We left 10 to 15 points on the field. And Ohio State didn't get called correctly for the interception, which probably would eliminate 7 points potentially of theirs. So you could look at it even up to 20 points. So no. Again, Ohio State fans are somewhat delusional. All right. Anyway, Spaz, final commentary as we go into Purdue.
No, just take care of business.
Oh, okay. That's it. Okay, cool. Well, I'm happy for that succinct, very short answer. Everyone here, please do join us here weekly on Wednesdays as we do the weekly Oregon Duck show and preview show. But this week, yes, exactly. Join us Friday night. More of the important reason, hit the subscribe and the notification bell. Hit the like too if you like what you see and you hear. And we will see you guys live on Friday for the post game following the Purdue game. So guys, you know what to do. Quack us out of here. No, Be nice to the audience. Quack us out of here, bitch.
Quack.